Hello everyone and welcome back. There are a few things that are certain in life. Death, taxes, and of course, Creative Assembly keep forgetting Bretonnia exist. But there's a brand new mod that dropped on the workshop very recently called the Bretonnian Rework I Dream For, which the title already got my interest. And you can see there's a few changes when it comes to the Lord Select screen. This has been such a really enjoyable experience that I really wanted to talk about it. Bretonnia redone and brought in line to Warhammer 3 with a bunch of new standards. So let's just jump right in. So Bretonnia's core gameplay loop is going to remain the same. You start off with your army, you just go and attack the undead, but things start diverging from there. From what I've been able to see, the mod just keeps Bretonnia feeling like Bretonnia, but elevates the systems where, let's be honest, there have been problems with this race. Multiple reworks and still, it is one of the boring ones. That being said, the first thing that's changed is the tech tree. So the old tech tree for Bretonnia, or the current one in vanilla, isn't really good. The fact is, a lot of time is focused around the Confederation, which does mean that you're slowing down on your expansion if you aren't, but you're not getting all the benefits towards your faction. So the Confederation mechanics have been removed here, and it's been stylized to be peasant, economy, the actual kingdom. It works in a much better way to get that natural flow for your Bretonnian playthrough. I was already kind of sold with just the technology tree, but a lot more has changed. You'll notice a brand new resource known as blessings, and these are gained from buildings, others, and positive traits. So you can get these from your legendary lords quite naturally, and they're used on technology, which we've already seen, and rituals. And the rituals themselves are in the Cult of the Lady tab. This is pretty much your Confederation mechanic, your Sacred Banners, and your Green Knight. So you'll be able to pick up Sacred Banners. These banners will be boosting up your units and all the usual stuff. Sacred Union is for the legendary lords, so Alberic and the Fey Enchantress and Rapunzel. Whereas Heraldry will allow you to confederate the minor factions, where if those minor factions are destroyed, they're going to get removed, which works a lot better, so you don't have to even think about that. There's also the Green Knight, where using it will get you the Green Knight as an ability, which he'll summon in battle, and you'll be able to upgrade him a little bit. So this works out pretty well. It allows for just easier confederation overall. You're actually going to get the confederation for the legendary lords much quicker without having to work your way down through all the minor factions and getting into wars that you might not want to get into. It does mean that you can basically just ignore the minor factions, let them to their own devices, and maybe pick them up if they actually feel valuable or not. I've noticed a drastic change where I wasn't fighting Grom very, very early, and I was being able to focus on the two undead factions, then a small invasion from Be'lakor and the rest. Such a massive improvement here. Buildings have slightly changed, and I think this is really, really important because you no longer have the night building. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, they've taken off the system of the whole industry versus farmlands. The idea here is so you can still build up a decent economy. This is one of the problems that Bretonnia does actually end up having, and it feels a lot smoother. There's a few other changes that come into effect to allow you to just build up. So like, for example, the abbeys and stuff like that. Well, the Cathedral of the Lady is where you're going to be able to get more blessings. The bonuses are going to be a lot better. I just feel like everything feels a lot better overall. The night building still exists, but it's there just to provide more benefits rather than just focusing on the knights. The peasants have been buffed up, so don't you worry about that. They end up having a little bit better combat capabilities because the knights themselves will focus around a completely different pathway, which, interestingly enough, makes a lot of sense for the Bretonnians. Knights are going to be incredibly rare, and it's going to be focused on a kind of warband system, which, interestingly enough, I really do like. Keep in mind that you don't have to deal with the vow system, and we'll talk about the vows in just a little bit. But the idea here is you're going to be building them up from Knights Errant, and you still will be able to get some questing knights alongside Pegasus Knights, but that's pretty much it. You're not going to be able to get Grail Knights off the bat. Instead, you're going to be building them up. You're going to be upgrading them, and you're going to be able to recruit them instantly, by the way, which is wonderful. And you're going to be expanding upon them in the same way as the Warriors of Chaos. This is great, because it's incredibly lore-friendly. The Knights Errant then become Knights of the Realm, then become the Questing Knights, then become the Grail Knights, then become the Grail Guardians. Or, for example, they become Knights of the Realm, and they can become the Pegasus Knights. It's a really good system. It's actually really, really good. It's exactly what needs to be done for the Bretonnians in vanilla. Because of how the system works, you're going to end up with more knights in the early game, which means that dealing with Kemmler and the Red Duke is going to be less of a slog. The problem that Bretonnia does have is that they're attacked from multiple sides. You are dealing with not only that, but Be'lakor, then Ikit, then Morga, then also Grom, well, in different orders, and it just becomes a massive slog. You're incentivized to keep fighting, which I think is so important. Your peasants are decent and they've got a nice little buff, but your knights will actively get better and better as time progresses, which is great. This feels incredibly thematic. Guild points have been updated for the Legendary Lords and for the Standards. I'm not going to show you all the Legendary Lords. You can discover that in the mod itself. And it honestly feels really, really good because now they feel a little bit more in line with Warhammer 3, which is a problem that Bretonnia has really suffered. There's some updates overall. The main thing is that even your basic lords have a lot more going for them. And again, this makes them just feel a lot more powerful and brings them just into the fray a little bit better. Bretonnia's always kind of suffered from that, and it feels kind of annoying considering that they've had to rework, well, 2.5 reworks, haven't they? It's one of those weird races, isn't it? It just really, I feel like Creative Assembly don't really know what they want to do with the Brets. They have stated in the past that they want to do the Bretonnia rework once again, so third time's the charm, like what happened with the Dwarfs, but until then, there's a really fun mod to play around with. The only problem that I've had with the mods so far is the VOW system, which I have to use a screenshot. I think this is because I use a 4K monitor, but VOWs have been completely reworked for your characters. Rather than activating them, or better yet said, well, forgetting to activate them constantly, because that's even stuff that happens to me, they will just progress naturally. It's very basic there, you know, like kill, win a battle with 2,000 kills, win a battle with 3 enemy army monster units, or win a battle against chaos and get unbreakable. This stuff is great, and you can get the Grail vow at the end, depending on what vows you've had to do, but you have to unlock all the previous vows on that specific character to just get a lot of massive bonuses, get some extra blessings per turn, which will allow you to get some extra material. This is a really good system, and it works much better than the current one. The Vow and Troth system in vanilla is forgettable, and the problem is that you can't really forget it because then you lose out on a lot of benefits, and you won't be able to get your knights at a cheaper rate. It's awful on how it is. This is so much better. Alright, so our chivalry is maxed out, which didn't take too long, and this is part of a new system inspired by the war mechanic, but very different. Errantry wars will allow you to get massive bonuses against certain factions, and also just become a lot more aggressive, allowing for essentially the crusade mechanic that a lot of people have been wanting. So here, I've got, a decent amount of territory, but Grom is expanding and he's going to become a problem alongside the fact that Be'lakor and his minor faction has now turned against me. I need to be prepared. I need to start pushing out. The idea here is now get rid of Grom as fast as possible with a Errantry. The benefits work out really, really well. There is a cooldown, so you can't just keep declaring the Errantry wars, but the idea here is you're going to get a lot more experience gain for your knights, you're going to get more campaign movement, even some movement range replenished when you get into the point of like attacking, sacking settlements, or even just winning normal battles, and you'll get like a bonus that's kind of themed against the enemy armies. So for example, Oath to Destroy the Greenskins increases my physical resistance for all armies, melee attack for all armies, and reduces their reinforcement time in case they've got wars. It's so good. It's so good. I can't really find too much of an issue there. It means that I'm going to be much more aggressive, which is wonderful, especially when you're dealing with so much of them. The only problem I had there is the fact that, you know, you can attack an enemy army, they'll retreat, and they'll somehow be able to sprint across the world. Seriously, Creative Assembly, if you're watching this, please fix it. Destroying or capturing the enemy capital will give you a load of blessings for completing the Errantry, which will allow you to get up a lot of extra bonuses. Like for example, here, I'm being attacked by Be'lakor. It's not going to take too long until they start coming down. So I decided to go get Morgana because she only costs 25. I could get Alberic, but Alberic's probably busy there and I don't want to deal with a faction war in Lustria. Or I could start confederating some minor factions. There's so many options there, and it allows me just to get the other Legendary Lords up and running, which means that if you level up the Legendary Lords, you'll be getting extra blessings per turn, which will then allow to cascade. This is where you start getting the steamrolling effect with time. It's not going to be instant. It's going to take a little bit of time. But sometimes you want a very powerful spellcaster lord, which Morgana the Fae is quite strong. I really like this system. The Confederation mechanic just feels a lot better, and it feels like there's a reason to do some Errantry alongside getting all the other banners that you want to get or boosting up the Green Knight. This is a really good system. It's so weird to see how essentially it's not a massive mod, but it's everything that needs to be done just to kind of fix up the Bretonnians. By turn 25, I've captured most of Bretonnia. I confederated with Paravon. I managed to put a little bit of cash just to get extra diplomatic relations with the Wood Elves so I can kind of future-proof them attacking me because, yeah, they will get kind of aggressive, and I'm starting to expand out there. My next plan is to deal with Queek, which is great. The idea here is just to deal with the problems as they arise and leaving Morgana up there to deal with Be'lakor as she comes down. I'll be able to recruit some knights instantly if I need to. And yeah, I feel like this is just a much better way of playing Bretonnia. It literally solves so many issues, which is wonderful because the core issues with Bretonnia have been a problem for quite some time. We had the troughs and stuff and that little rework that came in, but it didn't really solve a lot of problems. In fact, I think it kind of elevated and brought in new problems. This is a mod that you're going to want to check out if you've been dying to get that Bretonnia playthrough in, if you're trying to get that achievement, because remember that mods also work with achievements. It doesn't, it's not a cheat mod. It's a mod that is just going to make your playthrough feel a lot better. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. The link to the mod can be found in the description below. Try it out. Believe me, it's come out like 2 days ago. I played it last night and I had so much fun. There's so much to it. And I feel like you're going to really like it. Have a good one, boys, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye.